Hey there everybody, thanks for joining me again. Today we're going to look at Louisiana Fairytale and how to play over it. This is another nice old standard. It's essentially built on a couple of variations on a blues turnaround. We do a 1-6-2-5, we also do a bit of 4 to 4 minor back to 1. Some of the stuff we looked at back in our triads exercises previously. Okay, so this one's in B flat. We're going to use the refrain of the tune as our introduction. We're going to start on the 1, B flat, to the 3 dominant, D7. Really this is the 5 of 6, and that's where we go next, G minor. We then make this diminished, G diminished 7. Keep in mind that this is the same thing as a B flat diminished 7. So you can really think of this as like a 1 diminished. It's also the same thing as a D flat diminished, which would be a flat 3 diminished. There's a lot of different ways you can think about those chords. Be aware that diminished is a symmetrical type of chord, so each of the 4 notes in the chord can function as its root, and the chord repeats every 3 frets. Barry Harris has a really useful way of thinking about this that works especially well if you're thinking of like a 1-6-2-5 type of turnaround. He says there's 2 diminished chords, one a semitone below the 2 and one a semitone above the 2. Just to give you a quick demo on that without going down a huge tangent here. If we've got a turnaround in B flat, you can go from the 1 to the B diminished, that's a semitone below the 2, to the 2, the C minor 7, and then to the 5, the F7. But you could also use the diminished that's a semitone above the 2, so that would sound like this. So that's the B flat major to a D flat diminished, semitone above the 2, C minor 7. It's nice to have that as the 1 diminished also. Okay, so back to Louisiana Fairytale. We have the 1, the 5 of 6, the 6, the 1 diminished, back to 1, 5, 1, 5, where typically you'll hear people use like an augmented voicing. It's really nice for that authentic swing style. So here's the intro. Okay, on to the A section. We have the 1. Make it dominant. This becomes the 5 of 4. We then go 4 minor to get back to the 1. And then we chuck that intro on again. B flat major to B flat 7, 4, 4 minor, 1, 5 of 6 to the 6. This time B flat 7. This is taking us to the bridge. Again, that's the 5 of the 4, and the 4 is where we go next. 4 minor again, back to the 1, G7, so that's the 6 dominant, which makes it the 5 of 2. We then go to the 2 dominant, C7, which makes it the 5 of 5. There's the 5. Back to the A section to finish off. Just to go over some of the details on the bridge there, when we think of a major chord, we can think of a bunch of different things. For me, if I'm playing authentic kind of 30s era jazz and swing, I would tend to avoid the major 7th. To me, this sounds more sort of late 40s, early 50s, and a little more smooth jazz, I prefer to use like a sixth, either the old-fashioned sixth, or this voicing's nice, or this one, or sometimes with the fifth in the bass also, or a good gypsy voicing like a 6/9, and again you could have the 5 on top, or in the bass, as well as the root. That's the Django way. All valid options, all great options to use for your major chords. So when you see E flat major, use any of them, and then try and find an elegant way of voice leading into the next chord, the E flat minor. Say for example you've played this E flat 6 here, it would make sense to then just flatten the third and go for an E flat minor 6 for the 4 minor. Back to the 1. You want to really just explore all of these options for your major chords and your minor chords and practice tying them together so that you can improvise new ways to connect your chords as you go in the moment. You might never play it the same way twice, and it's really exciting as a rhythm player to explore that stuff. Same with the B flat, of course. So we're going back to the 1. The B flat, you want to be thinking B flat major. Sometimes just a simple major chord is all you need. Again, that's really traditional. Don't overlook that. You don't always have to throw something fancy in there. Again, the major 7th, although lovely, to me is not really a 30s sort of sound so much, so I would go for the major 6th, this kind of voicing, or perhaps one of these Barry Harris type of voicings. You've also got 6/9 again, one of the Django voicings, beautiful sounding thing. You can play it off this side of the root as well. Endless options. Okay, I'll just do a quick play through the bridge. E flat major, minor, 1, down to the 6, 2, to the 5, back to the A section to finish off. Okay, one other thing I did there in the bridge that I forgot to mention. Sometimes if you're on a prolonged period of a dominant chord, think of it functioning as 5, in which case you could put a 2 before it. G minor 7, C7. Think of them as a matching pair, and you can always go switching between them to create some kind of movement. So if I go through the bridge one more time, I'm going to throw some of those things in, see if you can spot where they're happening. Back to the A section. So let's move on to the exciting part. Let's play over these changes. Click the link in the description to get a hold of all the materials you'll need for this video. Everything from the chord charts to the solo part, in tab notation, in PDF and Guitar Pro formats, and I'll chuck the backing track in there as well, just my rhythm part. Okay, so I'd recommend writing out the changes like this. I'll probably upload a proper photo of that because that might not show very well. Then we can think about following this through like a roadmap. So if we look at the first scenario, we need to go from B flat to B flat 7. So our first phrase, we play this. There we go, B flat to B flat 7, just following the changes. Then where are we going next? We need the E flat next. play a blues line. But the focal point is this note here, the major third of E flat. And again, if we look at the road map, we're landing that note right on beat 1 of the E flat chord. What chord comes up next? E flat minor. There's the E flat minor, the minor third. Moving to the minor 6th sound. When you play on a 4 minor, it's always nice to bring out the minor third and the 6th. Also sometimes the major 7th. Has this beautiful kind of sweet resolution back to the 1. Okay, so far we got the B flat, B flat 7, E flat, E flat minor. We're then heading back to the B flat major, walking into the major third, to D7. Here's the 5th of D7. We then just play a D7 chord shape essentially. Thinking D7, there's your 5th, your flat 7, your 3rd, your 5th again. Slide up a semitone to the minor third of your next chord, G minor. Come down a G minor triad. And then we have a G diminished, so we play a G diminished triad. Connecting back to the B flat, where we go a bit bluesy. Play a little turnaround sort of lick. Again, if you're thinking of your road map, that last little run we just did there was navigating this area, 2 beats of each chord. So you got to think quickly and try and land your target notes. That's why triads are so important. They're not so hard to visualize when you're in a hurry. Okay, so here's bars 4 to 8. We then play a little turnaround phrase. We're thinking F7, major third, root. Really like this passing note, major 7 to the dominant 7. And then resolving to B flat. Now we're into the second A section, essentially the same as the first one. So we've got the B flat to the B flat 7. There's the flat 7. E flat major, E flat minor. Again, using a bit of that 4 minor kind of sound to get back to the B flat. D7, G minor, B flat diminished or G diminished, same thing either way again. And then F7. Again, we're really just playing B flat blues there to finish. Kind of incorporates a 1-5-1 type of feel naturally. Okay, so here's the second A section. Okay, then we have a B flat 7. This is a shape Charlie Christian used to use a lot. It's just part of your B flat 7 chord. Great little shape. And then we're thinking, where do we need to get to? Well, the B section begins on an E flat major. So we have 3 and 4 and 1. We chuck in a passing note so we can land the major third of E flat on the downbeat of the next bar. And then again we're thinking E flat major to E flat minor to B flat, there's the major third. Then we're anticipating the next chord, G7. So where are we here? We're in that B section. You got the E flat minor, B flat, G7. And then look at this next. We've got the long spell, 3 bars of C7, and a single bar of F7. So here's what we've got now in the B section. 4, 4 minor, to the 1, to the G7. That's the root. We then play a little G7 phrase to get to the C7, where again we're targeting the 3rd. I've specifically kept this mostly triad based, just because it really makes things easier to visualize. C7 just taking up some time. Now we're on the F7. Major 3rd, chucking the 9 in as well. We're thinking of like a F9 chord. I like doing these chromatic things rather than, which can be cool. It's also nice to be able to grab it on the next string. Good for bebop kind of language, that. So we're still on the F7 at this point, and now we're thinking augmented. We're literally just going to come down an augmented chord. Target the root of B flat to resolve. Then we play just B flat majory stuff, really trying to bring out the sound of the 6th quite often. B flat 7. Again connecting to the 3rd of E flat. And then we're just going to follow some of our chord tones here, E flat major to E flat minor, just by dropping the 3rd. It really helps to have some awareness of how you can get away with the smallest possible movement to navigate to the next chord. So there we're just thinking E flat major to E flat minor. And then what do we have next? B flat major. Super efficient. These voicings were the kinds of things that Freddie Green used to use in his rhythm playing. Just 2 strings, usually the middle 2, just moving things around in a logical way. Okay, so we've got the E flat, E flat minor, B flat to the D7, to G minor, to the B flat, and then we're playing, walking down to the flat 7 of F7. Finishing on B flat, the 3rd and the root. Okay, that's the end of the solo. Then we pick up the refrain to finish the tune as well. We play the actual vocal melody using triads. B flat major to D7, G minor to G diminished, B flat, F7, and that's it. Okay, so that's Louisiana Fairytale. Really fun to play over those changes. I'd heavily recommend taking some of these ideas and trying to apply them to your own improvisations. Let me know if you have any questions at all. Feel free to leave comments or get in touch. And I'll see you for the next one. All right, take care.